I have here in my hand a $100 bill. Does anyone here know whose face is on the $100 bill?
Ben Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. That's right. Now, Benjamin Franklin was an extraordinary man. He did many incredible things, and he was considered the most respected man of his time, even though he lived at the same time as George Washington and Napoleon. Pretty impressive. But one of my favorite stories about Benjamin Franklin is probably something a little less commonly known. It goes somewhat like this. A French admirer of Ben's wrote a letter and was excited. He explained this new theory, that taking a regular cold bath might help in the prevention of smallpox. Ben Franklin wrote back and explained that he preferred to bathe in a different element. That was air. That's right. Benjamin Franklin took a regular air bath, meaning he would get up every morning, open all his windows, take off all his clothes, and sit at a desk writing letters or thoughts while he bathed in the cool air of the morning. Now, I don't like this story because I'm some sick maniac. I like it because it teaches us something about Benjamin Franklin and why he was so extraordinary. He had the courage to try new ideas, even if it wasn't the most popular thing to be doing. I believe that as we try new ideas, we are able to discover who we are and our true potential. I do not doubt that Ben Franklin knew who he was and he knew his potential, and that is what gave him the ability to do so many great and wonderful things. Now, I'd like to demonstrate this concept in a personal story of how it is that by following and having the courage to try out new ideas, we can come to know who we are. Many years ago, I suffered from depression. It was a constant struggle for me. And one exceptionally hard night, I sat in my room, feeling the general misery. I walked into the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and thoughts were running through my head. Things like, oh, you're so ugly, you're so fat, you're so worthless. But then a new thought came to my head. It said, why don't you go try running on the treadmill? This was a strange thought indeed, because I hated running, and even more I hated treadmills, because you don't go anywhere while you're on them. But I somehow, or for some reason or other, did it anyway. Now, I began to run, and after about 10 minutes, I was completely exhausted, beat. Totally dissatisfied with my inability to run for a long time, I was about to get off the treadmill. And as I was going to push the off button, a voice from somewhere inside said, "Don't stop." I stopped to push off the button, and I listened. And the voice said, "If you can't run, walk, but don't stop." So I started to walk. And as I walked, I kept hearing that voice. Don't stop. Just don't stop. I began to increase my speed. And it was at that moment that someone, somewhere, said, "Kemarie, you can be whoever you want to be, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You can become whoever you want to be." An hour later, I stepped off that treadmill, a completely changed person. I haven't had depression since. I think it's because I felt so deeply and profoundly the truth of that statement. You can become whoever you want to be. Now, I know what's true for me is true for each of you, because we're all human. We're all here on this earthly race together. You can become whoever you want to be. Benjamin Franklin understood this about himself. That's why he was able to become such a great person. That's why he did so many inspiring and influential things. And he left us with these words. If you don't want to be forgotten by the time you're dead and run, either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. Now, I think that's an excellent philosophy to live by. But even more so, it's not about not being forgotten. It's not about being remembered or becoming a great historical figure. It is about learning who you are and then becoming just that. Because just like Benjamin Franklin, you are nothing short of extraordinary.